handing out Jello shots.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
I like my bartenders to be dressed up as Mr. Rogers personally.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Keep in mind, our table was Princess Bride, so I'm there in a frizzy, gray wig, shawl, all this, doing my best liar, bit, and offering people bits of chocolate because the chocolate makes it go down better. And one of the other teachers, her phys ed outfit was perfect, and I'd gone and gotten a bag of in-shell peanuts, and so we really were going, anybody want a peanut? And then halfway through the festivities, we may have started throwing peanuts at other tables and acting like we weren't, because nobody would suspect the table full of teachers to be causing problems.
Shit, that'd be my first suspects.
Well, there were 3 of them, so they couldn't totally pin it on us.
My wife was a teacher. I know how all this works. I've seen what happens to their parties.
So yeah, so you can bet how that evening went.
Oh yeah, I can definitely.
Great.
Yeah.
It was great. I got invited back for the 3rd year. So.
There are folks in chat.
What the hell is wrong with people? Don't you have anything better to do on a Saturday afternoon?
They look kind of expectant. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. You put pitch deck in the title and they show up. I don't know.
Well, there's a problem, folks.
Wait, whoa. Hang on. We're not at the 2-minute mark. You got to wait for the 2-minute mark.
Why do you have to wait for the 2-minute mark?
We can still go ahead and talk about everything else that's going on, but, I feel the need to go ahead and tell this so that half of them can leave and have the rest of their Saturday back.
Well, I mean, it's going to be that. Look at you.
All right, Terry. Shameful confession time.
I reorganized my office, and now I can't find the pitch deck. I'm not sure where it is. So we're going to have to improvise. So
I blame the cats.
Yeah,
Ask Leo. I bet Leo hit it. No, Leo's not smart enough.
We have an idea.
He hit it.
We have an idea how to do this, so we'll just have to get there after we do our small talk portion, which is very, very, well, it's here. Wait a minute. Betraying us?
All right. Our improv, sorry.
At the improv. V, what the hell have you been up to?
Oh, let's see. Staying busy. So there's a crowdfunding project that's going on. There's also teenagers in my house. So there's a crowdfunding project that has been going on. Did I put that in live last time? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, I probably did. But it's for Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar series. She's doing an anthology. It's been funded twice over, so the audiobook is going to happen. So yay, I have more work. And some other stuff. Been working on my pseudonyms website. Trying to figure out her branding. That's lovely. It's
I can barely figure out my branding. How the hell is somebody expected to figure out somebody else's branding?
I know. I've got to figure out 2 and separate pieces and just. I mean, this is too much. I can barely handle myself, and I got to handle my other self. Why?
Your other self?
My other self. The cooler self.
The cooler self.
The one who does fun things and, narrate spicy stories and, doesn't get exhausted halfway through the week and has to flop on the couch with coffee and peanut M&Ms to survive. Yeah, that one. She's way cooler.
Way cooler?
Way cooler. So yeah, that's been my week.
Terry, what do you have to say?
I've got nothing to say. Okay, I've got things to say. I have been writing. I'm still behind a little bit. So I'm going to have to keep, plugging away if I intend to meet this deadline. But I'll make it.
Cool.
Julius will assist me.
Julius is not going to assist you.
When you say assist, how do you mean that verb?
He believes he's helping.
Yeah, he believes he's helping. Well, I finished my book.
Woohoo!
It came in around 37.5. I'll be shocked if I don't get asked to make it a little longer. Pretty happy with it, but it is very odd writing this short of a book. It's very, very odd to write a novella again. I'll put it that way.
It's not the length, it's the quality that counts.
And it's not a novella. It's a short novel.
Short novel. Same diff. Anyway, it was fun. I've got it out to a couple of betas now. Thank you, Xander. So hopefully they won't find anything too ridiculous, but it may be the start of another trilogy, so we'll see how this works.
Are you going to commit trilogy?
I think I'm going to commit trilogy. I think this really can have a trilogy. I just don't know how the third book goes yet.
Giant sea turtles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only like 100 pages or less, Brett. They're not very big books.
And it's written in crayons.
Stop that. People being disintegrated is not all that I write. Okay? All right. Let's not go there.
That's right.
Anyway.
Sometimes they get, thrown into a vacuum.
So anyway, I've been researching various sea creatures and other things and learning about the Gulf of Mexico's abyssals and etc. And that's been kind of fun and scary. But I hit a wall. I got done with this book and finally sent it off to betas and sat there and went, what do I do now? what am I supposed to do? And I walked around to my wife and I went, I don't know what to do. And she said, maybe you should take a day off.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that.
What is this day off of which you speak?
Generally, when you finish a creative project, no matter how big or small, it is good to do something to celebrate it or rest or do something completely unrelated. Mm-hmm. Every time I finish recording a book, I make sure, like the rest of the day, nothing. Or if it's towards the end of the day, the next day, it's like, okay, I pick up my stuff, I go do something else. Or that becomes a, half a day of sit and watch K-dramas and crochet just to let my brain relax and get out of whatever headspace I was in for the previous book.
I watched a couple of stupid horror movies, found some new music, and tried to keep myself busy. Watched the stream last night, but it was hell because it's not none of that was what I wanted to do, and I could not figure out what I wanted to do. I think what I wanted to do was go write. I just didn't know what I wanted to write. So anyway, next week I start back on Extinction and try and get that puppy done. I want to try and get it done this month. Damn it! But we'll see how
we're already halfway
things
through
go.
the month. We're already halfway through the month.
I know, we're already halfway through the month, but I'll try and finish it this week. Assuming the betas get back to me, next week before my deadline, then I should be good to go. I hope. We'll see. And I still can't talk about it yet.
Man.
It sucks. Anyway, so things are going on that I managed to get all that done, even though my mom had to go in the hospital again. For a 5-day stretch. So, always fun. So, let's talk about Terry.
Uh-oh.
And the missing pitch deck. Now, those of you that are pitch deck veterans know how this usually works. Terry picks out a plot card, picks out a character card, and a complication card. Right? Did I get this right?
Yep.
Okay. So, the plot card tells us what this scenario setting is. The character obviously tells us what kind of character we want. And then there is the complication that is actually what the issue is in the scene, what it's supposed to do to start with. And then we start throwing in more crazy as we go on. So, chat, you are the deck. So, nimble up them fingers and start typing a plot.
And we will pick the most outrageous plot out of the ones you suggest. And we will run with that.
Keep in mind, don't start at the bottom of the barrel first, okay? At least if we're going to descend, let us descend.
Come on.
Do we want to
You know who
limit-
we're dealing with here.
So, do we want to start with like a genre to at least try to narrow some stuff?
I don't know. Terry, you are going to figure this mess out because you caused it.
Oh, sure, I caused it. I blame
So you are the MC.
Oh, Lord.
You figure out how we're doing this.
Well, no, I think that they're already throwing out some interesting ideas to be thinking about here.
Femme artificial humanoid that can sense mana. That sounds very fantasy.
Robot weasels that have assailed the last bastion of human thought.
See, that's the entire story right there, Tim.
A cooking show where the loser is killed each round. The real Hunger Games?
Oh.
Oh, I think that's a good one. Because instead of that, you could go ahead and have it where the loser becomes the ingredients for the next round.
So clearly, we're going into cannibalism at the start.
It's better than the butt stud Antoine is definitely going to be suggesting. So, let's go with cannibalism.
Okay.
Oh my God! It just reminds me of Cult of the Lamb. You're running a cult, and every once in a while, a follower starts some shit with you. Basically, you have a couple of options, which is to imprison them, ascend them, which sacrifices them, or sacrifice them, which sacrifices them.
So, have you ever watched any of those cooking shows?
Yeah.
My wife watched a ton of them. She gets on these binges and watch different kinds of shows, and she watched a bunch of cooking shows at the time, Chopped and Hell's Kitchen and all these other ones there. And so, if you're going to do that, you're going to have some kind of obnoxious host that is busy yelling at someone, "Do you want your gallbladder included in the next round? You're going to have to do better than that."
So I think for that, you have to have a host that is kind of on the lines of, what's his name?
Gordon Ramsay.
No, so what's the name of the puppet in Saw?
Jigsaw.
Okay, thanks. All right. So anyway, so you need this. So I'm going to propose that for this, you've got something along the lines of Chopped, except your head, your MC is just called Chef, and Chef is in the style of Jigsaw, where it's just
An animatronic.
an animatronic, and it's behind. The deal is then the horror is not only on the contestants, but what they've also done is they have found these 3 top chefs that they have, some grudge against. And these 3 chefs are tied up and they are made to judge. So you've got these 3 unwilling participants who have to sit there and judge.
This sounds like a Rob Zombie flick. It really does sound like a Rob Zombie movie.
And the first basket that comes up, because they have to have the ingredients for the different baskets, and the first basket that comes up, is, pieces or recommendations, something that has been taken from one of the captive judges' restaurants or properties. And something must be put together with it. And so the first thing comes through, and if they don't make it, well, someone obviously gets the chop. And then the next basket, so they come back and, I'm sorry, you've been chopped. And they have to march the loser off. And then you hear all this blood-curdling screaming, and then 2 baskets come out for the next 2 competitors, and it's all bloody and nasty. And oh, look, it's the person who got chopped.
I like it, except it's not gory enough. It's not gory enough. So
how would you make it more gory? Tell us more.
Oh, there'd be penalties. For instance, if you spill something, you lose a finger.
Ooh.
Guess what? That makes it harder for you to cook.
Is that a fingernail in your soup? Oh no, it's a finger!
It's the whole finger!
Finger
That could be the
sandwich,
joke.
anybody?
And they
That could be
chop
the
up your
host's
finger
joke.
and throw it in the soup. That's going to throw
Yeah.
off your flavor template. Your flavor profile.
Your flavor profile. Okay, Rowdy Rooster. Let's see. Matt says, and the audience votes for their favorite each round. And if you vote for the least favorite, then... So if you're going to do this, what is our hero, heroine? What is their story? Who is this person that's in their finger food?
Well, I mean, we can make the 3 chefs that are judging. Maybe they're like legit horrible people. So they've cut corners at their restaurants. They've underpaid people. They've screamed at sous chefs.
They've all screamed at sous chefs. Every single last one of them.
But they've done things. Someone's gotten burned. Someone's gotten whatever. And so the contest. Oh, that's it. So the contestants are the people that these chefs have wronged.
Ooh, that's an even better twist. I like it.
And so the hero or heroine is there, and while they want to get revenge on these horrible people, yes,
all 3 of them are from the Waffle House, different Waffle Houses.
No, the other our hero was on the rise to become this amazing chef, and something happened. Maybe there was a horrible accident, and they couldn't do as much as they could in the kitchen, and so the stress got to them and they got demoted, and they wound up being a cook at the Waffle House. And they get a call. It's like, please come help me. I need help. And they go and knock on the door, and then they get bagged and taken, and they wind up being one of the contestants. But because this is someone who has now worked at the Waffle House, they are afraid of nothing. They have dealt with a half dozen coked out yahoos at 2 a.m. asking for who knows what, scattered, smothered, and smashed. And they're like, I got this. What do you want me to do? Yeah, I have no qualms.
Off-House Massacre Part 2. Part 1 was the one that was committed on your stomach. Part 2 is when you went in there for payback. Brett says the lead has to be someone who cannot taste or smell to be at a disadvantage.
So you're saying they have long COVID?
The complication, make the protagonist vegan. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Actually,
Oh, boy.
if you have someone with if someone had a horrible TBI after a kitchen accident, that could have affected their sense of taste and smell, depending upon the type of brain injury.
No, I think that the complication needs to be you've got all these regular cooks, and you got some Cajun coming in with his idea of what needs to be in there. Oh, this don't have nearly enough spice. We're going to throw something down in here. Yeah, not even close to the right accent, but there you are.
Not even close.
I've broken her with the accent failure.
Dude, you've done so many bad things to accents in the past 10 seconds that it's just a crime. Just a crime. And as somebody who commits that crime as somebody who commits those sort of crimes on a regular basis, that's just crime.
Wow.
You need some gator in this stew.
Make the turkey from Thanksgiving oh my God. Critical accent failure.
As bad as I can ever get in accents, it's never going to be as bad as the friend of this show's female voices, so I don't feel too bad about that when Scott Sigler is going to fail more than I.
Wow. Ouch.
Wow. Shots fired. Wow. Man, you leave Scott alone. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
He wants to come on here and defend himself. We'd always be happy to have him come on.
He's busy. I think he finished the draft of the second Crypt book, so he can get a pass.
I'm reading the first one right now, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I was shocked to see my name in there and went, "What?" I forgot that. I forgot I was in there.
Yep.
Max Stoneballs Cooley.
I enjoyed the heck out of the audiobook.
Well, it sounds like it's good. That's a bit harsh. Even Thomas Reed's like, "Whoa, hey, now wait a minute."
Hang on a second. Sir, we have standards.
Make one of the chefs Welsh. If it hadn't got cockles or lava bread, it ain't breakfast. It's like Nutella and Vegemite. What's going on here? Yes, put those two things together. I dare you.
No. Hell no. I mean,
not only no, but hell no.
It's like there's some things that are supposed to go together, like peanut butter and chocolate. I don't think that Vegemite and hazelnut, spread are similar in that regard. Maybe in consistency. That's about it.
Look, I'm giving out gourmet ideas here, and you're shitting all over them. I don't understand this. Also, if there's a Welsh character, watch every narrator start sweating.
Only if you got to pronounce the words. Only if you have to pronounce actual
that's
Welsh
what he's
words.
going for. Hey, Matt, throw some Welsh in there for us. Hey, Millie. Wow, we got a full chat today.
I know.
Pretty crazy.
What the heck, y'all?
So, what's the complication for our contest besides the fact that this person's vegan and can't taste or smell?
He likes spam.
It's not a complication.
That depends on how much everybody else likes spam.
But they're getting baskets that are not necessarily edible by.
I want to note at this time, 2218, and this recording, that I am not the one that suggested cannibalism. That was Terry. I want it on record.
I didn't
The
suggest
horror writer
cannibalism.
did not say cannibalism.
That was inside the chat. I only brought up what they said.
I want it on record. I did not follow the cannibalism trail. I was not going down this trail.
You did not follow the food train?
I was not going on that particular journey, no. Spam is a complication, trust me. Borda! I wonder how you say that, Millie.
So...
Complication is one of his rivals as a cannibal.
Actually, so here's the funny thing. What if? So you have the level up of the complication, and you actually have your Hannibal Lecter type walk in, and they are doing the critique on the this next round of food, and they're. Ooh, what if they've taken a liking to one of the contestants and they're like, oh, he wants to help. He's like, no, really.
He wants to make that person fail so he can have them for dinner.
No, not that he wants to make them fail, but he's trying to help them because he thinks that they have real talent in preparing unique and not oft consumed meat. And so he's trying to help them, and the person's like, I don't know how to deal with being helped by this, cannibal, but maybe he's right. Adding a little more cumin would be a good idea.
Wrong one. If you guys would stop that. There we go. So tell me that doesn't scare you, Miss Narrator.
I just have to figure out how to pronounce it.
I think you're right, James. I think actually he just went through a Welsh name dictionary to find Cthulhu.
I mean, considering I had someone tell me that I had to emulate a click language for a bit of dialogue, and I managed to do it, I can do most things with a bit of practice. So. I took a lot of tries.
Are the lamb chops still screaming, Clarice? Remove them from the flame.
That is a great line.
That's a great line. He comes. Brett's quick.
That's a good one.
Always wanted to write a story about a cannibal detective that can eat a victim and figure out who the murderer is. So you want to use that concept as a complication? Go for it.
So
I love it, SD. I love it.
So you need to read a comic or graphic novel called Chew. Chew. There is a detective who can do that. And it is full of cannibalism and really, really weird culinary subplots. It is one of my favorites. It is marvelously illustrated. I have all of them.
Have you seen the show iZombie?
That's what James Terrell was saying.
That's a
Brett,
woman.
you're going to have to tell me what that is.
There's
Continue.
a woman in there that if she eats parts of the brain, she's part zombie or something like this, or maybe all zombie. I'm not really sure.
All zombie all the time.
If she eats the brains, parts of the brains, she picks up memories and habits and mannerisms of the dead person for a brief period of time. So that episode is that actress basically acting like she's somebody else every friggin' time, never the same, totally different, while still trying to follow the same plot line. So yeah, that's actually a great thing to do.
Necrolicious. I love it, Tim. I love it. Zombie woman works in mortuary and she can remember who killed somebody.
iZombie.
iZombie. Interesting. I'd heard a lot of good things about the show. I just never really watched it. It just never piqued my curiosity.
If you want to see somebody with a range of skills, the woman playing the lead role in there is amazing.
Isn't that a Warhammer concept? They gain battle knowledge from eating their opponent's livers.
Because that's where we store our battle knowledge, in our livers.
That's where it goes.
Ew.
That is in 40K. Somebody asked if I was pouring a stiff drink already, and I did. It was just coffee, though. Space Marines do that. Okay. All right, that makes sense. I like the idea of the cannibal guest chef. That's a good wrench to throw into everything. I like that a lot. What on earth are you typing over there?
Trouble. I'm typing trouble.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, so I think we got that story pretty much set up, man.
All right, I think we got a winner. Now we need a new one.
Oh.
What's our next concept?
Yeah.
Don't shy back. Where's Antoine? Obviously, it needs to involve butts.
He already said he wants to play a game. It involves butt stuff.
Here's his chance. He's wanting Mr. V to talk about butt stuff, so here's his big chance to make it happen.
Jesus.
She looks less than impressed.
I mean...
V's just like, yep, another Saturday afternoon.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
The sick, twisted, and wrong. This is where we come from. It's where we are. It's what we do. Or something like that.
And y'all are here watching. What is wrong with you?
Oh, we did your chef idea. You yield. Okay. All the contestants are thick.
I'm sure that means something, but I don't know what it means.
I believe it would mean they were big and very muscular.
I think that actually means something specific, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, we may be too old to understand.
I think that's an acronym, maybe.
No, it's not an acronym. It means that Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, big booby. Big
Sir
booty.
Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, I see.
Like big butts. Okay. We're talking about a butt so big you can just balance a tray on it. Is that what we're talking here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like that would be really awkward to sit down on.
You think?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Voluptuous. The OG goat. The OG goat love guru. Oh my God. All right, so we got situation where scientific progress can only be gained through street racing.
And here is particle physicist Dr. Milo Hazovich, and he is in a pumped up, blowball sort of.
Are you ready to science?
Actually, so what if? So I'm thinking like the Fast and the Furious. So there's your street racing bit, but the the protagonist was a lead nuclear researcher, and the stress of the job was too much, and there was always the issue with secrets, the potential for secrets being stolen, and she kept trying to warn people about procedures and policies, and no one was listening. And so she's like, that's it, I'm leaving. She gets burned out, and she falls back into her love of cars and racing. And 5 years later, she is, racing these, in underground racing, helping to build cars, etc. And one night, cops find her during a race, and she's being pulled in because because a rogue a terrorist group has stolen nuclear secrets, and they are counting on the street racing team to go and retrieve the nuclear secrets and find this hidden nest of terrorists. Fast and the Furious 11. Go for it.
Oh, dear God. Why?
Look, none of you were talking. You're like, pitch this. I'm like, okay, why not?
Antoine, I had the same thought when she said particle or rogue. I was like, a rogue particle? Nuclear physicist, rogue particle.
I mean, granted, I think I might have like half pitched like Fast and Furious 6 or 7, maybe. But it wasn't nuclear; it was AI. But
no, this needs to be like Back to the Future style. They need the cars to break some kind of speed barrier to activate something on the car that can only be done at a certain velocity, and they can't do it in the air.
What if they're not cars? What if they are near planet, like spaceships? Like
What if they're unicycles? What if they're unicycles? Speed, sound breaking unicycles.
How about this? The scientist's rival has gone ahead and designed something that is the scientist's ultimate breakthrough, but is refusing to give the information to the scientist. Instead, it's locked in a computer that is installed in a high-speed racer that has a high-end GPS on it. And to unlock it, it requires the DNA and thumbprint of the person, but it can only be applied when going 95 miles an hour and hitting certain speed marks through the city, but there's only room for one person in the car, so the scientist is going to have to drive the car.
It's like Speed meets Knight Rider meets Back to the Future.
Not only did you break a Hollywood budget, like multiple times over, with all the bullshit that has to happen to make this work, but you've created a conceit that is redundantly recursive. What have you done?
I mean...
It's the redundant department of redundancy.
I like it. I think that will work better in science fiction for a starship or something like that. But yeah, I could see it. I can see it.
Lots of training to be able to drive cars, and then having to dodge the police and all kinds of other things.
Someone stole the God particle.
I have the Higgs boson, and if you ever want to see it again, you'll pay me.
Her car is nuclear, but you get a dose of radiation every time you race.
Ooh. But you can only use it if you can pronounce nuclear like George W. Bush.
I'm not going there. I'm just not fucking going there.
Not gonna do it.
I can't even pronounce it like him. It's 3 syllables and I can't pronounce it. So there you are.
See, I don't know any of the Fast and Furious shit, so I don't know if this makes sense. Brett says, Dominus crew chased a thief in Tokyo, who is stolen tech that can control any vehicle. They discovered an international crime syndicate, the Black Vipers, plans to use the tech for global chaos.
The alternate reality where what was it? You mispronounced that word. What was it? Now I've lost it. What did you say in place of Tokyo? Tokyo is the capital of Japan in this alternate reality.
Oh my God. Oh, you would get canceled in a heartbeat. Tokyo.
It's turkey jerky is the favorite meat of Tokyo.
Oh my God.
What was that? Hang on. Now I gotta look this up again.
I think that was Brett's point, Tim. Aren't they all the same?
Rowdy says that he's from Texas and he pronounces nuclear that way. Paul and I are both from Texas and we don't pronounce nuclear that way. Maybe if you could, write out how it's supposed to sound, maybe we can, adjust our verbiage.
Nuclear, not nuclear. There's no U in there. There's no second U. Nuclear. That's how dumbass.
You're using the wrong George W. You're using HW's voice, but I'm talking W.
I know.
So you can't use HW's voice to try to do that because it doesn't work. It wouldn't be prudent.
So I was thinking, back to the Tokyo. Disney already did the weird twist on that for their movie Big Hero 6 because they created a city called New Fransokyo. New Q-Lore.
Oh my God. In an alternate reality, the Ottoman Empire made first contact with Japan and helped them industrialize, forging the friendship that caused Tokyo. Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure it'd be the other way around.
I thought you were pitching something here, but you completely lost me. I went down the path with you there, buddy. I was very disappointed at the ending, but I went down the path with you. Binocular. Binoculars. Oh my God. We really going to do this?
I mean...
All right, we need another one. Come on. There's dead silence.
Oh, no.
I don't like it.
We've scared them off.
It makes me... Oh, your never expanding building. I did see that.
Ever expanding building.
I did see that. You had to remind me of it, though, because a lot of shit's happened between then and now.
So are we looking at that as horror, as science fiction, as fantasy?
Yes.
Then Block, then City. Wow, that sounds like a Peter Klein's...
It kind of does.
Peter Klein's joint. Basically, imagine that. You're walking down the street and then suddenly you're in a building. And the building just keeps going.
Well, is the building sentient? Is it expanding on its own, or is someone causing the building to expand? Like, or if we got something going on like the dome, and it's creating its own perimeter.
Welcome to Endless IKEA. Oh my God. Oh, there's your fucking drop right there. You're trapped in a never-ending IKEA. It's like Warehouse 13, only it's with IKEA parts. And it stretches on for infinity.
Is missing one part. Every single thing.
One of the coolest things I remember reading in a series I enjoyed was, it's post-apocalyptic, and two characters who are a couple have to go to an IKEA to retrieve a magical object. But they soon realize that there's a curse placed on this IKEA that if couples walk in, they will be inevitably doomed to end their relationship by fighting in an IKEA. And they manage to break this curse by getting out of the IKEA and still having their relationship be somewhat intact. And so the curse is broken. I always thought that was like kind of genius.
Sadly, Horror Story Grady Hendrix story did that. I don't know.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
I don't either. What if a mid-distance spaceflight, the AI on the ship develops consciousness? Now the crew has an impossible choice of dying and preventing the AI from making it to Earth or playing their hand.
Do we know that do we actually know that it's an AI, or what if it was space exploration? They go out so far and they pick up, some non-human consciousness that infiltrates the
computer system.
Yeah, the computer system, and causes it to gain. It looks like, it's an AI gaining sentience.
But it's possessed.
Yeah, but it's actually,
Endless IKEA. Also, the ghost from the Ring lives there, and you have to learn to get along with her. Just turn off all goddamn televisions. Unplug them bitches. Break them. I don't know why this was so tough. Just kill the goddamn TV. Movie over. In the end, Captain Picard wakes up and it was all a dream. That's entirely possible. Uh-huh. Yep. I sure did. Yep. I have no other response to that other than, yep, that's already been stolen. It will happen very, very soon. The well is in the Bed Beyond section of the Infinite Bed Bath & Beyond.
There is only one left. It hasn't gone bankrupt, and it just goes on and on forever.
Isn't that in Family Guy where they go to the Bed Bath and then they found that he's looking for the Beyond and he found the Beyond or whatever and it just sucks him into an abyss? David Cronenberg directs the Avengers. Okay, this is one of the most disturbing things I've had in my brain in a while. Brett and I are big fans of David Cronenberg, and I can't what he would do to the Avengers. Oh my God. It would be like The Boys, only worse. Click Remote was in the Beyond section. Oh, is that what that was in Click? I never saw the flick. I remember the movie, though. I remember the ads for it. That's pretty funny. It was in the Beyond section. That's awesome. I like this idea of an ever-expanding building, though. Getting caught in a liminal space like that, it just keeps growing and not stopping.
Could you run into yourself?
That's an interesting question. If you enter one end, would you meet yourself? That's another complication or weirdness that can happen there. Interesting. Oh, the Cronenberg version of Plastic Man would be horrific.
You could totally have a story where the same person is both the hero and the villain.
This is very true.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very true. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what you would do with that, with the ever-expanding building.
Well, you can... if you treated it... the first thing that comes to mind is something like Cabin in the Woods, where it winds up being an experiment. And so the actual... expansion just keeps grouping in people, and you're watching this, psychological experiment. But at the same time, it's also affecting whatever is underneath, or it's giving it more resources. Or what if it's reciprocal? And so as you are expanding on top, you're decreasing the volume on the bottom and squeezing it up and causing so say your sphere that you have, or whatever, so your three-dimensional space, a sphere for lack of a better thing, because, you know, most efficient thing. And as your controllers are squeezing the top sphere, or not squeezing, or making it bigger, that boundary, so that building, that boundary has to, so as that expands, the resources to have this stuff on the bottom are diminished. So it gets shallower. So whatever it's helping to contain underneath, it keeps getting pushed up higher and higher. So it has a limit to what is expanding, because at some point the surface area of your final hemisphere is going to equal the surface area of your initial sphere, and whatever was contained in the sphere under the surface, so that lower hemisphere is going to get pushed up to the top.
I think James is right, though. Initially, I'd say people noticing the expansion, not really sure what's happening. Like being in an unzoned area where you've got houses up against strip malls and shit like that, where they're kind of nut to butt. The ever-expanding strip mall. How terrifying would that be?
That sounds like a Kevin Smith horror movie.
It does sound like it's Kevin. I'm going to write that motherfucker right now. You need to write this shit. Never-expanding quick stop. Come on, make it happen.
And the more it expands, the slower it gets.
No, the more weed it has to consume.
The third day comes in, Jay comes over. What the is going on?
So
you know what's going on?
So it has to be destroyed by Bruce Willis and a team of deep sea drillers trained as astronauts.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Then more people waking up with their homes subsumed. Yeah, I like that idea. You wake up and the building is half in your house, but nothing's been destroyed in your house. It's just like your house is just now part of the building. This sounds like a great short story, actually. I like that. Oh, then you got this. Yeah. MC is in a reality show in a maze, and the audience gets to decide what deadly obstacle MC faces next.
Sounds
Here's
almost
another
like
evil
Running
one.
Man, but
No
just
kidding.
a little different.
ST says play with the speaker system, like the main character hears a call out that their child is at the front register or something and can't find it.
That's because there is no front register.
There is no front register. Exactly.
There is no customer service.
Maybe it's a pinnacle that ties other dimensions. You see what you think is you 5 minutes ago, but it's really you in a universe where something is different, albeit generic. See, that sounds very Peter Klein's.
Yeah, it does.
First introduction to Cronenberg was Nightbreed. That's a gentle introduction. My first one was Dead Ringers. V would love that book. Or the movie, rather. Ugh, disturbing. Bucky's at the end of the world. A space where you can go.
Hitchhikers meets Texas. Ugh.
A space where you can go infinitely forward with no exit, but cannot go backwards. Even with multiple doors, you choose one and can't go back. They made a lot of games recently because of the back rooms that are like this. The liminal space or building just seems to keep growing, and everything else. TR said Legends of Korra, not sure of the pronunciation, did something like this as a spirit world merged with modern one. Truman Show Horror Edition. Oh my God, can you imagine how fucked up that would be? If you had millions of people deciding what, oh my God, yeah. Okay,
But that
now I
thing,
get
millions
it.
of people with the Truman Show, nobody ever really decided. They just watched. And then
Yeah,
you had
that's
the
true.
creator being interviewed, like, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to do that?
Yes, it's in Clive Barker. It's a good flick. Could have been better. That's a good flick. The multiverse evil version of you is more Blake Crouch than Klein's, though, although he has those. Yes, it is. Truman Show meets Dead by Daylight. Dude, I can totally see that fucking happening. There's a movie called 31. I don't recommend it, but it's got this kind of deal where you got some rich assholes who are basically going have a bunch of psychopaths on call, and they fill the place with undesirables, or they consider undesirables, and then have these murderers go at them. And they sit there and they're essentially the chorus. They narrate what's going on and they have all this pontification, and Malcolm McDowell is in that thing.
Because of course.
Because of course he is, because it's a Rob Zombie flick, therefore Malcolm McDowell has to be in there. That's the way that works now. It's some kind of rule.
Also typecasting.
Yeah, that too. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind at all. Imagine the audience voted liked American Idol for Truman. Ooh. They're possibly making a TV show of Nightbreed. Are you serious? Serious? That has possibilities. It'd have to be more like Cabal than Nightbreed, though, I think. That's the book that Nightbreed's based on. Say TV, I mean streaming. Yeah, I knew. Tim, why are you counting down? Why is Tim counting down? I haven't read a Clive Barker in a long time. Or I need to. Yes, I know most people don't know that. Wouldn't you all like to know? Apparently not.
Yeah.
We'll just ignore him. Ban him. I wish there was a way to put somebody in timeout. Yep, we're going to time out Tim for a minute here. There's no way to do that.
Like a hockey box. Toss him in there for however long.
Penalty box.
You're in the penalty box for a couple of minutes. The movie Page Master, but instead of being set in a library of books, it's an abandoned Blockbuster warehouse. Oh my Lord. I don't know what the movie Page Master is.
I'm intrigued. Let me look it up.
But anything where a library becomes a Blockbuster, that's hilarious. A haunted Blockbuster. The horror section overgrew and went into the adult section, and all hell broke loose.
Oh, okay, this one. Oh,
Or go in reverse. The adult section went into the horror section.
Okay, so the Page Master animated a cowardly boy who buries himself in accident statistics, enters a library to escape a storm, only to be transformed into an animated illustration by the Page Master. He has to work through obstacles from classic books to return to real life. So essentially, you're looking at the homage to various, famous movies. Although if I would do that, I would do it if it's an abandoned Blockbuster. I would have it be some Gen Zer whose phone has died and they can't they can't contact anything, and they duck in there. They don't know how to operate a VHS. And
who does? What's a VHS?
And they have to work through all of these classic 80s films. So a bunch of John Hughes movies. They have to deal with the little mafia family from the Goonies, and Chunk has to help them. They've got to deal with, just good, a bunch of good, 80s kitsch.
Tim counted down and blew up. Nothing happened to the rest of us. It's all good. Pam, the world ending. You're telling me video games used to run on tape? Impossible. You know what's really funny, and I don't know if I know Terry doesn't know this, but you might be. There's been a slew of games recently in the indie community that use the VHS conceit for a lot of different things. And it's not just ripping off the Ring. It's about games that are running on cartridges and the whole 9 yards. It's pretty wild. It's like retro going back to the 80s for a lot of stuff, because guess what? There's no fucking cell phones.
There was a bust somewhere in, was it the UK or was it Japan? I think it was the UK, where they seized an ass ton of counterfeit archaic video games and consoles that were built in China to sell for inflated prices. to people that are looking for these old game consoles.
I want an Atari 2600, so I pay $42,000 for one that's not really an Atari 2600.
I have no idea how much they paid, but yeah, something like that.
Oh.
Cell phones don't ruin everything. I think people are starting to deal with them much better. They're still a pain in the ass. Technical term, ass ton.
Well, I mean, a butt ton is an actual measurement, so.
That is also my favorite, metric fuck ton. There's a metric fuck ton of something. My first computer had a tape drive, no hard drive, no discs, tape, or go home. Yep. Because you're fucking old, man. Old as shit. Imperial ass ton. Oh, great. So now we've moved on to different types of ass tons.
You can't have a metric ass ton. You have to. Why can't you standardize your ass tons?
Should be in the metric system. It really should.
Well, you have tons and you have metric tons, so I don't know.
I need a metric ass ton.
But is that equal to a metric ton? Is that equal to?
Oh, I think it's bigger than the metric ton. It's got to be a lot of metric tons.
Right, but then how does an ass ton compare to a metric ton compare to a metric ass ton? That's the conversion that we need.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
It was Italy, and it was worth 50 million pounds.
Wow.
Or 50 million euros, excuse me.
Holy crap.
Okay, so Antoine, you're asking, does Gen Alpha or Z even know what a floppy disk is?
Yeah,
only if their parents have told them.
It's that cute little icon that you click on to save.
1 second.
Do you know what a floppy disk is?
Do you know what an 8-inch floppy disk is?
What is a floppy disk? Give me a break, Brett. You know what a floppy disk is. Remember the discs we used to slot into the little disk drives? You'd notch them. They were plastic and like LPs. You could throw them around. Well, Tim, you shouldn't have swallowed the bomb. Now, should you have? The save icon.
All right, let me ask the question of the resident Gen Z in my house. Do you know what a floppy disk is?
Yeah.
What's a floppy disk?
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know how to explain it off the top of my head.
What does it look like?
Small.
Okay. What's it used for?
By the way, you're live, child. We're waiting on you.
Some sort of entertainment. Thank you. She doesn't know what it is off the top of her head, but she knows what it is, and if you showed her a picture. So I know what it is, but I can't describe it.
You should ask her if it looks like the save icon.
Back in the
She is well versed enough on social media to have seen that meme.
Back in the day when things were counted in kilobytes and not megs, we had these things called floppy drives. And a floppy drive could take an 8.5, a 5 1/4, or a 3.5 disc. That disc, the 8.5 and the 5.5 or 5 1/4 being really what looked like an LP inside of a plastic case. Mm-hmm. Well, if the LP was made of some strange paper, magnetic tape.
Are you sure it wasn't just 8?
I don't remember. It was one of those. It was a lot bigger. It was bigger than the 5 1/4. Anyway, regardless. And then there was the 3.5, and the 3.5 looked like a little plastic. Well, it's your save icon on almost everything. That is a 3.5-inch disc. And that's what we used to store stuff on. We never had hard drives. 8 inches, okay.
Paul's adding a 1/2 inch for memory's sake.
Maybe
had one of those drives.
He's a guy. He has trouble with distances. Anytime it's just to figure out what 8 inches is, he's off by a little bit anyway.
I remember my son asked my wife what those big black CDs in the attics were. He was talking about records.
Oh, but the funny thing is, if you ask them now, they're not records, it's vinyl. Oh, I want to get that on vinyl. It's a record. Stop it.
I'm still baffled that the base size for a Word doc is in megabytes now instead of kilobytes. Like, what did they do to the file type for a one-page Word doc is like 2 megs? Stuffed it full of fucking shit, which is why Word sucks ass. All men add half an inch when a woman asks. Legit. Find no lies.
I see no lies in this particular statement. Oh, speaking of lies, let me tell you a funny story before we leave out of here. We took my wife's oldest out for her birthday dinner. She turned 40, so we took her out for her dinner to Outback. And some of the people, we were seated by the kitchen, and they were doing something in the kitchen, and one of the guys came out going, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" just waving at things at his face like this. And when he came back out later, we're like, "So what was going on with this thing on your face? What were you doing there?" And they're like, the cook back there, he was making up some peanut sauce, and he just added the stuff in there. It was like the hottest thing I have ever eaten in my entire life. And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, you want to try some?" "Yes, I do." So he went back in there and came back out with some peanut sauce, and I tried it. It was really good tasting, and it was not at all hot. It was just a teeny bit of spice at the end of it. And when he came back out, I was like, What's with this with the heat thing? It wasn't hot at all." And he's like, "You lie!" Then the cook came out a little bit later and said, "Yeah, I mixed in a bunch of stuff to tone it down before I gave you any of it." But yeah.
All right, so we probably should get out of here and bring this to a close. If you have a comment or question about this show, you can send an email to show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can find me on Mastodon at Paul_E_Cooley at VYRSE.social. You can find us on Facebook at the Dead Robot Society writing community. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out why V is having a problem here. You can find us at YouTube, at youtube.com/DRS Podcast, where we are live every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS Podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS Podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to live shows like the one we are doing in just a couple of minutes here. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. Now, our $10 patrons are... where did my page go?
It was eaten by the building that keeps growing.
I couldn't understand that. You're snarfling pussy again.
It was eaten by the building that keeps growing.
It was eaten by the building that keeps growing. I can't believe my page disappeared.
Who needs a growing building when you have Julius?
$10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Nate Cosby, Antoine Batts, Tony L. Joy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Isabel Cushy, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. Oh my God.
As long as Julius is comfortable.
Oh my God. All right. So anyway, we are out of here. We'll find out if Terry survives.
What are you doing, boy?
I know you're done.
Patrons, we'll see you in about 6 minutes. This is madness.
Why do you keep doing that, boy?
Have a great Saturday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had fun. We'll talk to you later.
I know.